Listen to me. You think the battle is out there in your job, in your school, in your family, in the people who don't believe in you. But the truth is, the real battle is right here, in your mind. Every morning, before your feet even touch the floor, the war begins. The moment your alarm clock goes off, one voice says, get up, let's go. You've got dreams to chase. And another voice whispers, 5 more minutes won't hurt. You deserve a little rest. And right there, before you've even opened your eyes, the war for your destiny has started. The battlefield isn't the gym. It's not the office. It's not the streets. It's that small space between your ears where your beliefs, your excuses, and your purpose collide every single day. The mind as a weapon, your mind is the most powerful weapon you've ever been given. But most people never learn how to use it. A gun is useless in the hands of someone who's never trained with it. And the same goes for your mind. You've been given this incredible God-designed tool capable of creativity, discipline, and strength beyond measure. Yet so many walk around like victims, not warriors. They let life happen to them instead of fighting through it. They let emotions make decisions that discipline should have made. They let fear control their focus and doubt steal their energy. But when you start training your mind, when you learn how to focus, how to push through pain, how to silence the noise, you become dangerous. You stop being a victim and become a fighter. You stop reacting to the world and start shaping it. The silent war no one talks about. You ever feel like you're losing your mind? Like one day you're on fire and the next day you can't even get out of bed. You're not crazy, you're just human. The problem is we live in a world that trains the body but ignores the mind. We go to the gym to lift weights, but we never train to lift our thoughts. We scroll through motivational quotes, but never take time to build the mental muscles that keep us moving when motivation dies. Eric Thomas said it best. When you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. But you can't want it just with your mouth. You got to want it with your mind. You got to be mentally strong enough to say, I don't feel like it, but I'm doing it anyway. The fighter's mindset. Let me tell you a story. There was a young boxer, broke, hungry, rejected. He trained every day, but he wasn't the biggest. He wasn't the fastest. And one night, his coach said, you're not fighting the other man in the ring. You're fighting yourself. The boxer didn't get it at first. But over time, he realized the hardest punches weren't the ones that came from his opponent. They were the ones that came from his own doubts, his own fears, his own weakness. And when he learned to conquer his mind, when he learned to fight through exhaustion, silence fear, and push past pain, he became a champion. That boxer's name, Muhammad Ali. He said, I hated every minute of training, but I said, don't quit. Suffer now and live the rest of your life as a champion. That's not just a quote. That's a mindset. Ali didn't win because he had stronger muscles. He won because he had a stronger mind. The mind can be your enemy, but here's the thing. The mind that can make you unstoppable can also destroy you. If you don't train it, it becomes wild. It starts feeding you lies. You're not good enough. You'll never make it. It's too late for you. And if you listen long enough, those lies become truth in your life. Some of you aren't trapped by your situation. You're trapped by your thinking. You built prisons out of your own thoughts. And you wonder why you can't break free. It's because you've never learned how to take control of the weapon God gave you. You've never learned how to discipline your mind, to command your thoughts, to declare, I am in control, not my fear, not my doubt, not my pain. Winning the morning war, success starts in the smallest moments. Winning the morning is winning the mind. When you wake up and you don't feel like it, that's the moment that defines you. When you choose action over comfort, growth over ease, progress over procrastination, you are training your weapon. You're saying to your mind, I'm the commander here. And when your mind learns that you mean business, when it understands that quitting is not an option, it starts to obey. And that's when life changes. Because if you can win over yourself, you can win over anything. The inner voice, you know that voice inside that tells you, you can't. You've got to learn to talk back to it. You've got to be louder than your doubt. You've got to be the voice that says, no, I'm not stopping here. No, I'm not giving up. No, I was built for more. You have to speak victory when everything around you screams defeat. You have to remind yourself who you are when the world forgets. Because if you don't control the conversation in your head, it will control you. The turning point, the greatest shift in your life will happen the day you realize that your mind is the gatekeeper of your destiny. You don't lose because you're weak. You lose because you believe you're weak. You don't win because you're lucky. You win because you believe you're destined to. It's all about what you tell yourself when no one's watching, what you whisper to your soul when the room is silent, what you feed your mind when everything in life feels empty. So here's your mission. Train your mind like your life depends on it, because it does. Feed it truth. Feed it discipline. Feed it purpose. Because if you don't train it, it will train you. If you don't master it, it will master you. Spiritual mindset, and don't get it twisted. This isn't just about willpower. This is spiritual. God didn't design you to live defeated. He said, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. That means victory starts up here, long before it ever shows up out there. You can pray all day, but if your mind stays weak, your faith won't move mountains. Because faith without mental strength dies in fear. So wake up every morning and say, Lord, renew my mind today. Make me strong where I am weak. Teach me to fight my own thoughts before I fight the world. That's how warriors are born. The war is not outside you. It's in your head, in your habits, in your heart. And if you want to win at life, you've got to start winning the invisible war. The war within. Because once you conquer your mind, there's nothing on earth that can conquer you. Listen, a weapon is only as powerful as the discipline behind it. You can have the sharpest sword, but if you don't know how to use it, if you haven't trained it, maintained it, or respected it, it'll rust in your hands. The same goes for your mind. Your thoughts, your emotions, your habits, they're all parts of a weapon that must be forged in fire, sharpened through struggle, and hardened by consistency. Discipline is the fire that forges the mind. Everybody wants power, but nobody wants process. Everybody wants results, but nobody wants repetition. Let me tell you something. There is no strength without structure, no mastery without discipline. See, discipline is the heat that burns away weakness. Discipline is the hammer that shapes chaos into clarity. Discipline is what separates dreamers from doers and talkers from warriors. You think it's about motivation. Motivation is a spark. Discipline is the engine. Motivation fades when you're tired, when life hits you, when people stop clapping. But discipline doesn't care about applause. It shows up even when you don't feel like it. It keeps you focused when emotion disappears. Eric Thomas said, I don't need alarm clocks. My passion wakes me up. But behind that passion was years of discipline, of getting up when no one was watching, of doing it tired, of doing it broke, of doing it afraid. That's how the mind becomes unbreakable. The training ground. You want to forge your mind. You've got to step into the fire, the grind, the routine, the repetition. Discipline is not punishment. It's preparation. The military doesn't train soldiers to make them tired. They train them to make them ready. They push them to the limit so that when war comes, they don't break under pressure. And life is the same. Life will test your patience, your faith, your focus. But every test is training. Every struggle is sharpening. Every setback is shaping your sword. You've got to stop asking God to make life easier. Start asking Him to make you stronger. Because the mind doesn't grow in comfort. It grows in combat. Repetition builds mastery. You don't become disciplined once. You become disciplined daily. You don't master the mind overnight. You train it every single day, even when no one's watching. That's why the greatest athletes, the best leaders, the strongest warriors, they all live by routine. They wake up at the same time. They train at the same time. They study. They pray. They push. They understand that consistency isn't boring. It's the birthplace of greatness. Every rep you take, every early morning, every decision to keep going when you want to quit, you're sending a signal to your brain that says, we don't stop. That's how the mind learns to obey. That's how you forge mental steel. Kobe Bryant's discipline. Let's talk about Kobe Bryant, the Black Mamba. one of the greatest basketball players who ever lived. But his true greatness wasn't just talent. It was discipline. Kobe used to wake up at 400 a.m. to train. While others were sleeping, he was shooting. While others were resting, he was running drills. He said, if you see me in a fight with a bear, pray for the bear. That's mental warfare. He knew that every extra hour of training gave him an advantage that couldn't be measured in talent, only in mindset. By the time others woke up, he already had 2 workouts done. That's not motivation. That's discipline. And that's what you've got to build. That Mamba mindset. Because when you discipline yourself long enough, your mind stops asking, how long? And starts saying, how far? The structure of discipline isn't random. It's built on structure. If you want to train your mind, you need a blueprint. Here's how: set clear standards, not goals. It's not goals. Standards. Don't say, I'll try to wake up early. Say, I wake up at 5 a.m. no matter what. Discipline starts when you eliminate options. Build small habits. You don't climb mountains in a day. You build daily steps. The habit of focus. The habit of silence. The habit of prayer. The habit of consistency. Embrace pain as training. Stop seeing pain as punishment. Pain is feedback. It's your mind's way of saying, we're growing. Protect your environment. You can't have a disciplined mind in a distracted world. Cut off noise. Limit negativity. Surround yourself with people who are hungry, not comfortable. Stay accountable to yourself. Be your own coach, your own critic, your own motivator. Don't wait for someone to push you. Push yourself. That's how you build a mental foundation that doesn't shake when storms come. Discipline over emotion. There are days you won't feel like doing it. Days your body will hurt, your energy will drop, and your motivation will vanish. That's when discipline becomes your best friend. Discipline says, I don't care how you feel. We made a promise. We said we'd show up. We said we'd do the work. Your emotions are temporary, but your purpose is eternal. So when feelings fade, let discipline lead. Because discipline isn't about how you feel. It's about who you're becoming. You can't let your mood dictate your mission. If you only work when you're inspired, you'll never win the war. But if you work when you're tired, when you're broken, when you're doubted, that's when your mind starts to transform. The science of mental strength, even neuroscience backs it up. When you push yourself to stay disciplined, your brain actually rewires itself. Every time you make the hard choice, your brain builds stronger neural pathways. That's how habits form. That's how mental endurance grows. You're not just building routines. You're reprogramming your mind. You're literally training your brain to obey your purpose. So the next time you don't feel like getting up, don't think of it as a small choice. Think of it as mental warfare. You're either strengthening your mind or surrendering to it. Spiritual discipline, and let's not forget, spiritual strength fuels mental strength. Even Jesus went into the wilderness for 40 days. He disciplined his body, his thoughts, his desires. He trained his mind before he began his mission. That's a message right there. Even divine destiny requires discipline. You can't pray for purpose but skip preparation. You can't ask for greatness and then quit when life gets uncomfortable. God doesn't bless the lazy. He blesses the ready. So every time you say no to comfort and yes to growth, heaven takes notice. You're saying, Lord, I'm ready for more. I'm not just asking, I'm acting. The forge never ends. Forging the mind is a lifelong process. There's no graduation, no finish line. Because the moment you stop training, your weapon starts to dull. Every day, life will test you with distractions, disappointments, temptations. You'll be tempted to skip the grind, to take shortcuts, to ease up. That's when you must remind yourself, this is the forge. Every challenge is another strike of the hammer. Every hardship is another flame that hardens your steel. Every sacrifice is another proof that you're becoming unbreakable. You want to be great. Then you've got to train your mind like a soldier trains his weapon. You've got to love the process as much as the promise. You've got to become addicted to discipline, not dopamine. Because when discipline becomes your habit, excellence becomes your nature. And once your mind has been forged by discipline, there's nothing life can throw at you that can break you. You'll stop saying, I can't, and start saying, try me. You'll stop waiting for opportunity and start creating it. Because in the hands of the disciplined, the mind becomes unstoppable. It becomes your greatest weapon. And when your mind is forged, the war is already halfway won. Let me tell you something. Every great mind, every strong spirit, every successful person you've ever looked up to, they didn't just fight the world. They fought themselves. Before David ever faced Goliath, he had to face his own fear. Before Muhammad Ali ever stepped into the ring, he had to conquer self-doubt. Before any soldier steps into battle, he's trained to recognize the enemy, because what you can't identify, you can't defeat. And in the war of the mind, there are 3 assassins that have taken out more dreams than failure ever could doubt. Fear, comfort. The first enemy, doubt, is the quiet killer. It doesn't scream. It whispers. It doesn't attack with force. It sneaks in like poison. It starts small. I'm not ready. I don't think I'm good enough. What if I fail? And slowly, that whisper becomes a belief, and belief becomes behavior. And before you even start, you've already surrendered. See, doubt doesn't need to destroy your dream. It just needs to delay you long enough until your fire goes out. The voice of doubt, let's be real, we all hear it. That inner voice that tells you you're wasting your time, the one that says you'll never make it like them, the one that compares you to everybody else. But here's the truth, that voice is a liar. It feeds on your insecurities. It feeds on your past. It feeds on your pain. And if you don't silence it, it will run your life. Every time doubt speaks, you've got to speak louder. You've got to replace I can't with I will. You've got to say, I might not be there yet, but I'm coming. Because if you give doubt a microphone, it will drown out your destiny. Real example. Thomas Edison failed 10,000 times before inventing the light bulb. 10,000 times. Imagine if dollar won on a 10,500 or 5,000 or 9,999. He said, I didn't fail 10,000 times. I just found 10,000 ways that didn't work. That's not optimism. That's mindset mastery. That's what happens when you train your mind to see failure not as a dead end, but as data. Every no just brings you closer to the yes. So the next time doubt tells you to quit, remind yourself, your mind is the weapon. And weapons don't retreat. They reload. The second enemy, fear. Now let's talk about fear. Fear is the oldest, strongest enemy of the mind. It's the reason people never start, never speak, never try, never dream. Fear says, stay safe. Fear says, play it small. Fear says, what if it doesn't work? But faith says, what if it does? Fear is the language of limitation. Faith is the language of expansion. Fear of failure. Most people don't fear failure. They fear what other people will think if they fail. They fear embarrassment. They fear judgment. They fear being laughed at. But you know what's worse than failing? Regret, because failure ends when you get back up. Regret never ends. Regret haunts you for the rest of your life. You can fail and still grow. But if you never try, you'll never know who you could have become. So stop letting fear write your story. You've got one life. Make it fearless. Real story, David and Goliath. Everyone in Israel saw Goliath and said, he's too big to fight. But David looked at him and said, he's too big to miss. Same situation, different mindset. That's what training your mind does. It flips your fear into faith. It turns obstacles into opportunities. Fear sees a mountain and says, it's impossible. Faith sees the same mountain and says, let's climb. The biology of fear, here's what's crazy. Fear is just a chemical reaction. It's your brain's way of protecting you. But sometimes the same system that keeps you alive can also keep you average. Your brain says, don't do it, it's risky. But growth lives in risk. Breakthrough lives in uncertainty. So you've got to retrain your brain to interpret fear differently. When fear shows up, don't back away, lean in. When you feel butterflies, that's not anxiety. That's your spirit waking up. It means you're stepping into something bigger than you. Faith over fear, and here's the truth. Faith and fear can't live in the same heart. One will push the other out. That's why God said, fear not, for I am with you. Because fear is not just emotional, it's spiritual. When you believe God is with you, fear loses its grip. You start to move with boldness. You start to speak with confidence. You start to walk through fire knowing you're covered by grace. So don't pray for a life without fear. Pray for the strength to walk through it. Because courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the decision to keep going despite it. The third enemy, comfort. Now let's talk about the most dangerous enemy of all, comfort. See, doubt and fear are easy to recognize. But comfort is sneaky. Comfort feels good. Comfort makes sense. Comfort whispers, you've done enough. But listen, comfort is where dreams go to die. It's where potential rots quietly. It's where hunger turns into habit and fire turns into fumes. The comfort trap. You ever see people who used to grind, used to hustle, used to dream, but now they're just comfortable. They got a job, a routine, a little bit of money, and they stopped growing. They stopped challenging themselves. Comfort is the most seductive enemy because it tells you you're fine, even when you're fading. It tells you you deserve a break, when what you really deserve is breakthrough. If you stay comfortable too long, your dreams will start to shrink to fit your laziness. And one day, you'll wake up realizing you've built a life that's safe, but not fulfilled. Real story. The eagle's nest. When a mother eagle wants her babies to fly, she does something crazy. She starts tearing apart the nest. She removes the feathers and soft grass until only the sticks and thorns remain. Why? Because she knows comfort kills courage. If the baby eagle stays comfortable, it will never spread its wings. So she makes the nest uncomfortable. She forces the baby to fly. And that's exactly what life does to you. Sometimes God lets things fall apart not to break you, but to push you out of the nest. Because you were never created to sit. You were created to soar. The triple threat, so there they are, your three enemies. Doubt attacks your belief. Fear attacks your courage. Comfort attacks your purpose. They work together. Doubt makes you question yourself. Fear freezes your action. Comfort convinces you it's okay to stop. But you're not average. You're not weak. You were born to fight back. To counterattack awareness, action, and accountability. To defeat these enemies, you've got to move with strategy. Here's your mental warfare plan: awareness. Catch the enemy before it attacks. When doubt shows up, identify it. When fear creeps in, name it. When comfort whispers, expose it. Action, move anyway. Do it afraid. Do it uncertain. Do it uncomfortable. Because motion destroys mental stagnation. Accountability, surround yourself with warriors. People who call you higher. People who don't let you settle. You can't fight mental battles alone. You need a tribe that reminds you who you are. Faith-fueled mindset, remember. God didn't call you to live safe. He called you to live significant. He didn't create you for average. He created you for abundance. But to get there, you must be willing to walk through doubt, stand firm in fear, and step out of comfort. Because that's where transformation lives. That's where the mind evolves. When you stop running from your enemies and start learning from them, they become your training partners. They make you sharper, stronger, and smarter. The enemies of the mind aren't here to destroy you. They're here to reveal you. They show you how bad you want it. They test your fire. They measure your focus. So when doubt comes, out believe it. When fear comes, out faith it. When comfort comes, outwork it. Because every time you conquer these enemies, you become more than just strong. You become unshakable. And when your mind becomes unshakable, your destiny becomes unstoppable. You made it through the fire. You've been tested, broken, stretched. But listen, this journey isn't about surviving. It's about becoming. Because every true warrior knows greatness isn't a moment. It's a mindset. It's not a trophy you win once. It's a mentality you carry for life. You don't train once and call yourself a soldier. You train every day because the battle never ends. And the warrior's mindset means one thing: I will not let the world decide who I am. I decide that every day. The warrior wakes up hungry. When you have a warrior's mind, every morning is mission time. You don't wake up hoping for an easy day. You wake up ready for war. You wake up saying, let's go. I've got work to do. I've got purpose to live. See, the average person prays for comfort. The warrior prays for challenges. Because challenges are the gym for the soul. You can't grow strong in soft conditions. You need resistance. You need pressure. You need something to fight against. That's how muscles grow. And that's how mindsets are built. Mental armor. The warrior's mind wears armor. Not to look tough, but to stay focused. That armor is made of faith, discipline, and gratitude. Faith protects your vision. It reminds you that every setback has purpose. Discipline protects your habits. It keeps you on course when motivation fades. Gratitude protects your heart. It keeps you humble in victory and strong in failure. That's your spiritual armor. Without it, life will pierce you with doubt, comparison, and pride. The daily battle plan of warrior doesn't fight blindly. They follow a daily system, a structure that builds strength. Here's what that looks like. Morning command before you touch your phone, before you check messages. Command your mind. Say today, I lead my thoughts. Today, I control my focus. Today, I train my weapon. Start your day on offense, not defense. If you wake up reactive, you hand your power to the world. But if you wake up intentional, you set the tone for victory. Mental conditioning feeds your mind with what fuels it, not what drains it. Read something powerful. Listen to something that stretches your thinking. Meditate, pray, or write. You're either programming your mind or letting the world program it for you. Physical discipline, the body and the mind are connected. When you push your body through training, exercise, consistency, you're teaching your mind endurance. That's why champions like Eric Thomas say, I grind, not for the body, but for the mental muscle that forms when your body wants to quit, but your spirit says, keep going. Nighttime reflection, the warrior doesn't just go to sleep. They review the battle. What did I learn today? Where did I grow? What can I sharpen tomorrow? Because self-awareness is how you stay dangerous. You can't fix what you don't face. Real story, Inky Johnson. Let me tell you about Inky Johnson, one of the toughest warriors alive. Inky was a college football player with NFL dreams. One game changed everything. A tackle gone wrong left him paralyzed from the shoulder down. Dream gone. Future shattered. But you know what he said? I'm not a product of my circumstances. I'm a product of my decisions. He lost the use of his arm, but he never lost his mindset. He trained his weapon even harder. He turned his pain into purpose and became one of the most powerful motivational voices on the planet. That's what a warrior's mindset does. It finds purpose in pain. It doesn't say, why me? It says, try me. Faith and fire. You can't have a warrior's mind without faith, because some battles are bigger than your strength. They require divine support. That's why the Bible says, be strong and courageous, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. Faith gives you endurance when logic fails. Faith says, even when I can't see it, I know it's working. Faith allows you to fight on days when your body screams, it's over. When you have faith in your heart and fire in your mind, you become limitless. Because your power no longer depends on circumstance. It depends on conviction. How warriors handle failure, you want to know what separates warriors from everyone else. It's not that they don't fall. It's that they never stay down. When the average person fails, they question their worth. When a warrior fails, they sharpen their blade. They learn. They adjust. They reload. They don't see failure as final. They see it as feedback. They don't see pain as punishment. They see it as preparation. That's how you keep moving forward no matter what. Because a warrior knows. Every scar is proof that I survived what was meant to destroy me. The warrior's code, every true warrior lies by a code. Here's yours. Write it, repeat it, live it. I control my mind does not control me. I do what I said I would do, no matter how I feel. I chase purpose, not comfort. I embrace pain as progress. I train daily, body, mind, and spirit. I protect my peace like my life depends on it, because it does. I am a warrior, not a worrier. If you live by this code, there's nothing the world can throw at you that can break you. You'll bend, but never break. You'll stumble, but never stop. Everyday training, listen, the warrior's mindset isn't something you turn on when things go wrong. It's something you live every day. It's built in the small moments, when no one's watching, when you're tired, when it's hard. It's built in the days you show up without applause, in the days you keep pushing when no one claps, in the days you pray when you don't hear answers. Every act of persistence, every choice of discipline, every moment of faith, it all builds your mental armor. So stop waiting for big opportunities. Your greatness is being shaped in the ordinary days. Real life lesson. The samurai spirit, the samurai trained for years not for the sake of violence, but for the sake of peace. They believed the true warrior was not one who loved war, but one who mastered himself so deeply that nothing could disturb his inner calm. That's the ultimate level of mindset mastery. When chaos doesn't control your peace, when storms don't shake your spirit, when you walk through pressure and still carry purpose. That's what it means to be mentally undefeated. The power of service. But here's something people forget. A warrior's life isn't about ego. It's about service. Your mindset isn't just for you. It's for the world you impact. When you train your mind, you lift others. When you stay disciplined, you inspire someone who's watching. When you rise again, you give someone else the courage to rise too. So remember, your purpose isn't just to survive the war. It's to lead others through it. Be the one who says, I've been through hell, but I'm still here. And so can you. That's leadership. That's legacy. Spiritual closing, God didn't give you a weak mind. He gave you a weapon, but He expects you to train it. He expects you to protect it. He expects you to use it for His glory. So when life gets dark, when pain feels heavy, when fear screams loud, remind yourself, my mind is my weapon. My faith is my shield. My purpose is my mission. And when you live like that, nothing, and I mean nothing, can stop you. The warrior's mindset isn't built in one day. It's built every day. It's not about being fearless. It's about moving forward through fear. It's not about perfection. It's about persistence. So keep training your weapon. Keep sharpening your mind. Keep fighting for your purpose. Because the day you master your mind is the day you master your life. And the day you master your life, the world will feel your impact. You won't just survive the battle. You'll win the war.